We bring you the latest updates from the Pna Newsroom. Expect a robust and more conducive business environment in the country. This is the message of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during his speech at the Country Strategy Dialogue at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Marcos said the government's policies and initiatives paved the way for the Philippines' economic rebound with an economic growth forecast of 7% for this year. This is way above the global projection of the International Monetary Fund of 2.7%, which is slower than the 3.2% posted last year. Marcos said the higher growth rate projection in the country is based on the government's strong macroeconomic fundamentals, fiscal discipline, and structural reforms instituted over the years.
The COVID-19 pandemic and the current state of the global economy are a testament to the need for a higher call for cooperation. No one is completely safe and secure until everyone is safe and secure. No one can be left behind if we are to succeed. This is the kind of society that we envision for the Philippines, the same one we are striving for in our development plan, the socio-economic agenda that we have put together, and our other national strategies. According to IMF, projection for global economic growth in 2023 is a rather low 2.7%, slower than the 3.2% in 22, which is already a significant decrease from 6% in 2021. In the Philippines, the picture is slightly different, and we project our economy to grow by around 7% in 2023. Our actual projection is 6.5, but there are signs that we might be able to surpass that.
During the question and answer session, Marcos said the Philippines welcomes any major capital-intensive investment as his administration is exhausting all efforts to immediately pay off the country's debt. He specifically mentioned the country's good relationship with Middle Eastern countries, noting the huge concentration of OFWs there. He said trade becomes part of the discussion with Arab nations as the Philippines speaks about its planned sovereign wealth fund.
The process of establishing our first ever sovereign wealth fund is underway. Such a fund is one tool among many in our efforts to diversify our financial portfolio, which includes our existing institutions pursuing investment that will generate stable returns, but also welfare effects spanning employment creation, improvement of public service, and a decrease in costs of economic activities.
Meanwhile, the Department of Migrant Workers is looking for a new, bigger location to accommodate the stressed Filipino workers in Kuwait. Undersecretary Hans Leo Kakdak said the DMW plans to upgrade the facilities at government-run shelters so they will become a haven for distressed OFWs. He said DMW Secretary Susan Ople also ordered the new shelter should have enough room for training and learning sessions that can be offered to residents. Earlier, Ople expressed dismay after officials discovered the unhealthy living conditions at the Migrant Workers and Other Overseas Filipino Resource Center in Kuwait. The DMW team meanwhile met with Kuwaiti authorities for the speedy repatriation of at least 300 of the more than 400 OFWs within 2 weeks. A total of 40 OFWs arrived with Kakdak in the country on Tuesday, while OWA Administrator Arnel Ignacio was hoping to bring along another 100 on Wednesday. In other news, cheaper white onions with prices down to 150 pesos per kilogram are now being offered at the Agribusiness Development Center Kadiwa site in Quezon City. This is 20 pesos lower than the usual price of onions sold in other Kadiwa stores priced at 170 pesos per kilo. The price is in line with the DA's projected price range of 100 to 150 pesos per kilo following the approval of importation of onions before the peak harvest season. DA Deputy Spokesperson Rex Estoperes said over 5,700 metric tons of fresh yellow and red onions are expected to arrive in the country. Meanwhile, the DA has warned government employees not to line up in Kadiwa sites during office hours. Perez slammed government employees shopping in Kadiwa stores while on official duty, saying such practices is unfair to the public. He particularly called out erring employees from government offices around or near the Quezon City Memorial Circle. Meanwhile, the Philippines is ready should the World Health Organization decide to lift the global health emergency. This is the remark of Department of Health Officer in Charge Maria Rosario Vergere following a report that the WHO Emergency Committee will meet on January 27 to discuss whether COVID-19 still represents a global health emergency. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. earlier expressed hesitancy on extending the country's state of calamity due to COVID-19. Due to the waning number of infections, however, Vergere reminds the public to continue being cautious and vigilant, as the health department will still impose the same restrictions should there be a rise in COVID-19 infections. Meanwhile, Vergere said the DOH is still ramping up its COVID-19 vaccination drive to sustain the low number of critical cases. To date, she said, there are over 3,600 primary care facilities which are offering COVID-19 vaccines as part of their regular schedules. She said the local government units have also decided to integrate COVID-19 vaccination in their primary health care services. And that is the latest and the biggest stories from the Pna Newsroom. For more news content, visit our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. We are also shown on the social media pages of the Presidential Communications Office and on Radio Pilipinas RP1. Stay tuned for more news updates. I am William Theo. We tell stories that inspire change. Good day, everyone.